And on behalf of Infosys, I'd like to welcome all of you today. Over the next hour, through the course of this press conference, we request one question from each media house. And with that, I'd like to invite our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Salil Parekh, for his opening remarks. Over to you, Salil.
Thanks, Rishi. Good afternoon, everyone, and wish you a Happy New Year. Our Q3 revenue declined by 1% quarter-on-quarter and 1% year-on-year in constant currency terms. For the first 3 quarters, our revenue grew by 1.8% over the same period last year in constant currency. Our operating margin was at 20.5%. Large deals were at $3.2 billion. 71% of these were net new. This included one mega deal. We are seeing strong traction for generative AI programs, leveraging our Topaz capability. We have integrated our generative AI components into our service line portfolio, creating impact for our clients. We have 100,000 employees trained in generative AI areas. We have developed a range of use cases and benefit scenarios across different industries for our clients. Our margin improvement program continues to gain traction. Based on the performance in the first 3 quarters and outlook for Q4, we're tightening our revenue growth guidance for FY24 to 1.5% to 2% growth in constant currency. Our operating margin guidance for FY24 remains unchanged at 20% to 22%. As you probably know, Nilanjan is leaving Infosys at the end of this financial year. I want to thank Nilanjan for the excellent work he has done and for the strong position he's put Infosys in. In addition, I also want to thank Nilanjan for his partnership and his friendship over the past several years. We wish him all the best in the future. With that, let's open up for questions.
Thank you, Salil. We will now open the floor for questions. Joining Salil is Mr. Nilanjan Roy, Chief Financial Officer, Infosys. The first question is from Ritu Singh from CNBC TV 18.
Hi, Salil. Hi, Nilanjan. As always, we want to understand why, yet again now for the third time during the year, you've revised this guidance. What is the visibility you have now, for the remaining part of the year? Why the tightening? I mean, sure, it's going to be higher than 1%, perhaps lower than 2.5% on the upper end. Secondly, what are you seeing when it comes to client budgets now? Are clients in the US open to spending more? What are the areas of weaknesses and strength, whether it's geographies or sectors? Again, the same question, the headcount continues to come down. Even in this quarter, it has, even though your attrition rate is lower at 12.9%. Your hiring plans for the year, if you could outline. And apart from the numbers, if you could clarify on the deal wins and that mega $1.5 billion deal, that MOU that you had signed with a global client in the AI transformation space that you seem to have lost out on. What was the reason for that? Are you continuing to see deal cancellations? And while you wish your colleague all the very best, and you always say that Infosys has produced talent for other companies, you're proud of that. But what is the impact on business? Because this is not a one-off event. We've seen multiple exits over the course of the last 18 months or so.
Okay, so let me start off. There's several questions in there. The first, I think, was on margin. So what we've done is really, as we get closer to the end of the financial year, we've tightened the margin, the revenue growth guidance. The margin guidance remains the same. So in effect, really, the higher end has come a little bit low and the lower end has gone up a little bit. So we see the outlook in essence quite similar, but the guidance is tightened. That's how we're seeing it, based on what we've seen in the first 3 quarters, where our growth has been 1.8% in constant currency terms over the previous year's 3 quarters. And that's really all we've done with the guidance. On the budgets, I think that was one of the questions on what we're seeing with the budgets. At this stage, we've not seen any different behavior from clients. Typically, as you know well, Q3 is a quarter with large furloughs and other end of year holidays, and that we've seen continue. We've not seen either an increase or either a decrease. So the same sort of a view. Digital programs are fewer, cost and efficiency, automation is much more, and generative AI has a lot of interest and traction, even if it's small revenue numbers today. Then there was a question, I think, about the MOU. We have no additional comment. We'd shared the comment in the statement we'd made, I think, some time ago in the quarter. In terms of leadership, we are indeed fortunate to have a good team and a very strong set of leaders within the company. And over the last several quarters, and even in the past, the people who've taken on many of the new and spend 5 years in that role, he will obviously share his view, and we've had those 5 years, and really Nilanjan's contributed immensely to that, and all the best wishes as he looks ahead.
Thank you.
Sorry, on the headcount question as well, and for Nilanjan, your Project Maximus, just before you go, I'd like to, know from you, where do you see the end goal of that project? How do you evaluate your term here, and what's next for you, after March?
Yeah, so it's been a tremendous 5 years here. I think, what the company has transformed over the years has been truly remarkable, right? In terms of the client intimacy, what we see, hunger for large deals, the focus on people, the entire focus on the shareholder, the capital allocation. So truly, outside the numbers, which, you all ask about, has been this whole transformation happening inside, and, under Salil and the board's leadership, that's truly been wonderful. 5 years is a long time, 20 quarters answering the question. So I think it's time to move, and I'll do something later on, and as the press release says. But more importantly for me, I may leave Infosys, but Infosys can't leave me. It just has a part of me inside.
Thanks, Ritu. The next question is from the Economic Times. Beena.
Hi, Salil. Thanks for the call. Firstly, in terms of your deal pipeline, could you give us a sense